Hi guys. Okay, so my name is Ruthie Lewis, and I am going to Stanford this fall, and I thought that it would be very beneficial to you guys to make a video about how I think I got into Stanford. um, Now, this is not to say that this is a foolproof method. It's not to say that if you do everything I say you will guarantee get in. But I think these are definitely some really good tips that I wish I had known when I was applying. So here we go. First major thing: start early. See, for me, like I waited until like the week before early action was due, and I had to do all my essays and all my, sending of scores at the very last minute, and it was very hectic and very stressful, and I would not recommend it for anyone. So yeah, like don't be afraid to open that application. Like you can open it and look at the questions, and you don't have to answer everything the first time you see them. You have plenty of time if you start early. Like start reading it in August or September, but like don't open it, for the first time in November and expect to like know all the answers that you want, because a lot of times like the best essays take some time to really think about like the topic that you want to convey in that essay. And so another thing is just give yourself plenty of time to work on the application. Set aside some time, either every day or at least once a week, some ample amount of time to really look at everything and figure out what you want to say, and just, work bit by bit so that you're not rushing at the very end. And so, just don't wait until the last week before. Just don't do it, please. Okay, so now on to the main essay. So before you start writing your essay, do some research about like what works. Colleges love, at least I think, essays that where you're vulnerable and personal. Like don't just write about some very surface level topics, but oh, I love math and I love physics. I mean, it may work. You may love physics. If you are passionate about physics and that's what you maybe you want to major in, like go ahead, be my guest. Don't let that stop people. Like if you're just going to write about physics, even though you really love something else, then maybe you should write about that something else. Maybe you should write about something that you really care about and that's really personal to you. So to me, what I wrote about was my teen dating violence awareness prevention programs that I went to and that I held and that I helped organize. It was a very big passion of mine, and I wrote about how it affected my life and how, I gained more self-confidence through it. It was a very personal essay for me that, I worked really hard on and that I spent a lot of time on, that I love. So, yeah, you should love your essay by the end of writing it and reading it over and over again. Like you should love it. You should feel like this is me. What someone told me once is that like someone should be able to read your essay and know it's yours without having your name on it. Like if you just randomly dropped in the hallway, someone picked it up, like they should be able to know whose it is, because it should just be like so unique and personal to you. Yep. So another thing that I think colleges love are essays about overcoming obstacles, showing that you can persevere through something that shows that there's a lot more depth to you that meets the eye. Something that you can be proud about talking about. So another thing is you should look up topics that admissions counselors don't really like and make sure you don't write about them. A lot of them say don't write about death, don't write about divorce. There are other topics, just don't write about anything that's inappropriate. Also, like, don't worry about losing your virginity. Like, that's not, they don't want to hear about that for the most part. You know, so another thing that you don't want to worry about is just like cliches, You want to have a unique essay, something that stands out, especially for, a selective college like Stanford. Like, it needs to be super unique. It's something that can catch the eye and be like, wow, like that was insane. Like it has to be really unique and individual. And so now on to the supplements. So if you haven't looked at the application, they have a lot of supplements, like a lot. It was the largest college application I've ever applied to. It was really big. There was a lot of questions, a lot of supplementary questions, and I applied to 12 colleges. So yeah, it was the biggest one out of all of them. So what I would say is, if you can, like, try to find articles that describe the type of students that go to Stanford. I luckily found one that described one, and hopefully I'll be able to find it again. I can put the link below. And yeah, I just said that, like, Stanford students were very, like, risk takers, and that they were very passionate about things, and that, you know, they were very good at one thing, but they loved doing a lot of other things. So if you show, like, that you have a wide variety of interests, that could also potentially help. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it might. And so another thing I would say is that make sure that, like, you show your admissions and admissions counselors that you fit all those characteristics. So, like, not only should you find out, like, okay, well, Stanford students are this, this, and that. Like, you need to show it in each and every essay that, like, you are also this and that. If they're a risk taker, show that you're a risk taker. If they're, sweet and kind, make sure that you're sweet and kind. Make sure that you're this and that. If you're not, don't lie. But if you can find some examples in your life that show that you are this way, then use them. Use them to the best of your ability. But at the same time, like, don't lie. Don't lie. Be honest. Don't say that, you're super athletic when you've never played a sport in your life and you don't plan on playing a sport in your life. Don't lie, because, if it works for you, then, you're getting in on false pretenses, and it's not you. They didn't accept you then. They accepted this made-up person that you made. And at the same time, like, a lot of times they know when you're lying. So, like, don't lie, because it's not going to reflect good. It's not going to reflect well on your character, and that's not going to reflect well on your application. So, yeah, just be honest. Just be honest. And so the next thing is mix up your answers. Like, don't try to put the same answer for every question. Like, don't talk about, your favorite sport like 5 different times in different essays. Like, talk about it once or twice. Twice is at the max. But if you can talk about a lot of different things, then, like, I would suggest you do that, because, they're really trying to develop the real person that you are. When they, read your application, they're trying to really see all facets of you, all sides, all aspects of you, like, everything about you, so they can really know you, the person, instead of just you, the student. Are you the athlete? Are you, the community leader? They want to make sure they know the real you. Which is why, like, if you read the application, like, you'll see they have a lot of questions that have nothing to do with, like, your resume, your grades. And, it's like, what would you write to your roommate? Like, what are your favorite films and concerts and stuff like that, to get to know, like, you, the person, which I think is really great. And, it's okay to be silly sometimes if you're being honest. If you have a funny story that you'd like to tell the Stanford admissions, then, like, tell them. They're just regular people. Like, they love hearing jokes. They're really kind people. So, like, if you have a funny story, then you should tell it. Just make sure it's honest. And finally, have trusted teachers and adults look at your application. That's what I did. I trusted my mom with looking at my application, and she did a lot. She's probably the reason why I got into Stanford, because she made sure that my application was bomb. So, if you don't have a close parent that can help you with your application, then go to a teacher. Just ask them if they can just help you look over your application before you send it in, because, a lot of times you just need, like, a different perspective to really help you. And, like, sometimes your friends might be a bit too kind, or they may not really know because they haven't really applied themselves. So I would really suggest just having, like, a teacher or, a parent who has gone through the application process, or has gone through a lot of application processes in their day, that can really help you make sure that you have the best application possible. And especially an English teacher for your essays, like grammar, that would be very beneficial for you. So, especially if you have a favorite English teacher, I would suggest that. So, I hope all this helps. I hope that you guys do very well in the Stanford admissions lottery, I guess, this year. And I wish you the very best. Okay, thanks.